So I'll give you some quick thoughts. Obviously, we just beat Dark Alliance. I've heard people talking about how reviews are unfavorable, all of this sort of stuff. We've watched it, twitch.tv/YoungRover59. You can see me play it in its entirety alongside Nappa. And my set of circumstances, I'm just gonna give it to you straight, like most people that reviewed this game never played this shit with someone else. So this is my perspective, and I'm gonna give it to you from that perspective. Playing it with Nappa, it is a game that $40, because it's not a full price game, I can totally understand where it's at, or the stage that it's at in terms of its content. You know, we played it for a little under a week. We beat it. Looks like there's not even any true gameplay loop. Not that excited or anything else for me to do. Controls wise, it is kind of clunky. It is kind of clunky, and it's rough. Going into the like beginning stages of the games where you have absolutely no fucking moves. But once we got our entire move set, even like a half of the move set, like the amount of fucking combos and shit that you can chain up with this, and this is the barbarian that I have, is fucking nuts. And I had a lot of fun doing that. But it's clunky, and I will say this. I do not know if it's because of, I don't know if it's because of the like net coding. So, cause I played the entire game online with someone else. So maybe single player guys can tell people if the hit detection is the problem that it is. But the hit detection was by far the most annoying thing for me. And that is that you get chances or times that there will be rubber banding. But more so is that I'm like completely clear of the enemy's attack, and he still fucking hits me. Caffeinated Wolf just rated with a party of 12. Appreciate that. We're just giving just my final thoughts real quick on Dark Alliance. I appreciate that, bro. But that's an annoying thing. Now, again, I don't know if that's about the net coding or how that's working, and that it's just registering very late. And I don't know if that's something that people are experiencing offline. I am not. I don't really know that. But playing this, we did have fun playing it alongside other people. The gear system is decent. As far as that, it doesn't have that much depth. It's not an MMO, and this is a game that is completely driven by its gameplay, despite it having its issues. And you know this because as soon as you turn this game on, you spawn fucking basically right there in that cave right there, and they just say, "All right, go have at it." There's not much to do. It's not open in terms of you just go do the missions on the world map, and that's about it. It's not open world or anything like that, and I'm not necessarily against that. I know we kind of got a freeze up there. Sorry about that. This is on me. This isn't the game doing this. This is some shit that's happening on my system. Yeah. So, but the initial thoughts is that it's decent for what it is, and definitely playing it alongside people. I probably recommend if you're going to play this, play it alongside other people. I can see you get a lot of fun, a lot of cool gameplay out of that. If you're looking at it like, oh, this is going to be some single player, very detailed, immersive experience, this is not going to be the game for you, and you're going to be severely fucking let down if that's the game that you thought that you was going to get. And this is the mistake. We've talked about this with many other games on my channel where the devs shoot themselves in the foot, because what they did, much like they did with Outriders, much like they did with these other games, where it's like, okay, the devs said, don't take my word for anything. Go look at the like gameplay trailer that came out for this. They specifically state that this game was meant to be played with other people. You shouldn't have even gave people the option to do a single player then. The reason big, I know people say I don't like to play single player. I get it, which makes all the sense in the world. But the problem with that is that now you get people that are judging this game from two completely different standpoints, right? It's going to be a different experience, not only in that, but what you expect from the game, it's not going to be as in depth as generally as you expect it to be with like a single player action RPG or something like that. You're not going to get that out of a game like this because it's not taking a single player really in mind. It's more of you have the option, but it wants you to play it with other people. And that's probably where you're going to get the most fun out of it. seeing the whole combination of like powers and elements and all that sort of stuff with the different people that you have. I dig that, but it's not that high level of customization. It's not open world high level of customization. Like you have 4 set players, that's it. And they're already set. You don't get to change anything aside from their skins and obviously the gear, which does change the character's appearance and stuff like that. That system in itself is not bad, but it is not a game that I would recommend, though it is cheap for $40. Well, cheap and relatively for what generally full price games are. It does have its bugs. We didn't play it. We played through it with most bugs. Like we didn't have like game breaking bugs like we've had with other games. The only issue that we had was just like clunkiness in terms of button responsiveness and stuff like that when you're trying to interact with the game. And I don't know if that's something that they can really fix. I don't know if that's something they can really fix right now through a patch. We'll see. But the gameplay in itself, and this is what I will say, and this is going to be game, I don't want to say game breaking for a lot of you guys. You probably are going to disagree with me. For me, this type of gameplay and what it tries to do, to me, should be the basis for any fundamental, I know y'all gonna disagree with me, action RPG, even MMOs. This type of gameplay should be the foundation for anything that is considered a next-gen MMO experience. Now, I know there's a lot of mouse and keyboard guys who don't like this type of gameplay, but what I mean by this is a live response combat fucking system, meaning there are dodge mechanics. And even this game is difficult than a lot of other games because if someone hits you from behind, you don't get any fucking like alert or anything. It's like you just better be watching your ass. It's more so what it is. But this live response action combat system was what intrigued me about the game in the first place, where it's essentially a brawler in addition to the RPG aspect, should be the foundation as far as I'm concerned for any RPG. Especially any MMO, but playing this game, and if the issues are the net code, I can understand why a lot of games don't make their games like this that are traditional MMOs, with that type of gameplay, because there's probably some technical issues that generally are going to come with it. You know, you have like games that kind of try to have that. You have the Monster Hunters of the world that talk about Phantasy Star Online. Of the world, and I'm glad that more games are kind of adopting that. Hopefully we get that in the superhero realm, not DC universe, but you know, something more akin to maybe the world of a DC universe, but more of the like gameplay of like this or Marvel's Avengers or the type of stuff which actually requires you to fucking have to pay attention if you are playing a game and fighting the actual enemies, because you can't just go in there willy-nilly and just wait for the move to load up, and like, no, you gotta actually pay attention and dodge Gohan. So I would say for a single player experience though, and I'm not a big Dungeons and Dragons guy anyway, but for a single player experience, it's probably not gonna be that fun of a game for you. Just being completely honest. If you can find at least one other person to play with, even among the clunkiness and some of this hit detection, you can get a little something out of it for $40, and you know, you play through it for a week. Unfortunately, there's no true gameplay loop. Maybe it shouldn't have even been that much. Maybe they'll add more to it. I don't know if that's gonna be a DLC, a paid DLC. I have no idea. But the game itself, I like the idea of what it tries to do with the combat itself. It's just where it lacks is a lot of like movement issues and responsive issues, definitely when interacting with the actual world and stuff like that. But the game can be fun. You can watch again me play it, twitch.tv, giving my honest assessment as we're playing it, and we had a little fun. So that's my thoughts, kind of walking away from Dark Alliance. I would say, much like a lot of other games, listening to the IGNs and the people that are going to give this shit bad reviews, again, a lot of people, you got to understand where their perspective is. And unfortunately, a lot of gamers, definitely content creators that want to beat a game and move on to the next one and be done with it, they're not looking at it from the perspective of even what the game is attempting to do. They're looking at it from their perspective and their perspective only, and they don't even try to decipher that. If you listen to my reviews that I've done for even Cyberpunk, I tell you what kind of gamer that I am and what my viewpoint, what I was looking at going into the actual game. Because what it does is it gives the audience perspective, because if you are not into that type of stuff, then or you're not looking at what I'm looking at in the game, then you're going to get something different. You know what I mean? In terms of your experience. But for almost exclusively, all I saw people play was, for example, solo, and they were running through it on the easiest level, and that's all they got from the game. And I think that's not being fair to the developers, but the developers also shoot themselves in the foot by making games that probably should be online only, which means some of you wouldn't play it. There's nothing wrong with that. There's single players online games. Some games just should be online only, and what they do is shoot themselves in the foot trying to mash concepts of two different games. And you know, you get people, we just give them the option, but we really want them to play it multiplayer, but they don't play a fucking multiplayer. An experience that you wanted them to enjoy, they don't get, because they're looking at it from a completely different perspective. So some of that is the dev shooting themselves in the foot as well. But those are my thoughts on this game, Dark Alliance. So hopefully you get something out of that.